I'm El Donzo.
I am Deez, and as we have been saying, this is the final show that you will hear right here on Cities 92.9, but we are not going away. We're just leaving these particular airwaves. And you want to find out everything about us and where we're going to be, what we're doing, check us out on our socials, facebook.com/EldonzoDeez. You can find us on X at EldonzoDeez. And, of course, go to our YouTube. Give us a subscribe, like, follow, share, all that good stuff at youtube.com/EldonzoDeez.
Okay, now I got to get this off my chest real quick. There's something going on up in Canada. There's always something stupid going on up in Canada, though. There is a 50-year-old transgender swimmer named Melody Weishart. There's a picture of him right there. What do you think, Deez? Passable or not passable?
Nah.
Yeah, no.
Very questionable.
Now, he once competed under his given name, which was Nicholas Cepeda, but he sparked outcry after competing against teenage girls at a swim meet in Canada and changing alongside them in the women's locker room.
50?
50. Yeah, he's 50 years old. 50 years old swimming against anywhere from 8 to 16-year-old girls. And wait, and he's changing in the locker room with them. He's, got his wang out in the locker room. What do you think about this?
Stop the world.
I know, launch the nukes. Like, what do you expect from North America at this point? Weishart 50 competed in several events at the East Bayfield Community Center where the meet was held, including the women's 1,500-meter freestyle for athletes 16 years and older. Weishart placed second in that event.
He still got beat.
With a time of 21:14:30, according to the official results posted to Swimming Canada's website.
You know, now, too much drag from the old rudder there, apparently.
I think there is. I think there's too much rudder action going on. Now, Swimming Canada, this is what really pisses me off about this. Swimming Canada, which is the governing body for competitive swimming in the country, and this is after people started raising Cain and wanting answers, told Fox News Digital that access to changing rooms is determined by facility municipality policies in accordance with the applicable law. What a bunch of sheep. Can't they just grow some gonads and say, this is, no, you know what, you're right. You guys are right. This is wrong. We're not going to let this dude in the... Why? Okay, first of all, it's one thing to let a 50-year-old man who's been swimming his whole life compete against teenage girls. Okay?
And even younger.
Okay? And it's a second thing to let him change, get naked in front of them in the girls' locker room.
Like, look, you want to be the opposite sex or whatever you want to be, whatever. You want to compete, fine. But how, as a human, regardless of what you think you are, can you possibly take pride in beating a bunch of kids?
Which is my next point. How could somebody stand up there and get a second place medal or whatever the hell it is with a smile on your face, knowing that you just competed against young female girls that are virgins nonetheless? They're young girls that are half your size. Now, I don't care that he's 50 years old. A 50-year-old semi-pro swimmer can whoop a 16-year-old girl in a heartbeat. Now, I'm surprised he got second place.
Well, yeah, there's one he couldn't whip.
Yeah, right? Well, good for her.
Yeah.
You know what? Riley Gaines should go up there and smoke all these chicks and prove a point. I mean, think about that.
No, Riley Gaines should go up there and smoke him.
No, well, that's my point.
Yeah.
You know what? Riley Gaines goes up there and beats all these chicks. And when they go, Riley Gaines, you're a professional swimmer. Well, it's better than being a man. Maybe she could draw some attention to this. I guess this
guy's... By the sound of it, Bill O'Reilly can go up there and beat this dude.
Bill O'Reilly? Did you just say Bill O'Reilly?
Yeah. Oh, Riley Gaines, Bill O'Reilly.
Weishart. Melody Weishart. Oh, Melody Weishart. It's a dude. I guess he's a professor. Imagine that.
It, whatever. It kind of looks like Howard Stern.
Kind of does look like a
little bit.
I think I see a 5 o'clock shadow. I hope I look like that when I'm 50. Weishart, who is a professor at York University in Toronto, Canada, has reportedly been competing against girls since 2019. It wasn't until last fall, however, that Menzies and Rebel News learned of Weishart and began shedding light on the participation. Yeah, Rebel News has been really good about this and going out and calling this dude out. So, I don't know, just the fact that, well, they say it's not against the municipality law, so we can let it happen. No, don't let it happen.
That's
when did these people
insane.
start doing this and dictating what the hell we can do? Now, this one really, Chuck Schumer and Zen. As most people know, I am a Zen user, right? You know this, Deez, correct?
Yeah.
Now, I smoked probably 3 packs of cigarettes for almost 20 years. 3 packs a day. Not 3 packs over 20 years. That's probably 2 to 3 packs a day. Now, when you quit smoking, it doesn't matter if you have a nicotine pouch or you have a vape, or you have one of those, what do they call them? The nicotine patches. Yeah, the patches.
Like Nicoderm CQ.
Yeah, like Nicoderm or the gum. It doesn't matter. You got to want to quit. But it always helps to have that nicotine. That's something that you can get on. And Zen pouches are nothing but nicotine salts. There's no tobacco in it. There's no carcinogens in it. It's just nicotine. I've got one in right now. I love it. I mean, this is my go-to thing. Now, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer has called for a federal crackdown on Zen nicotine pouches. Democrat lawmaker recently issued a warning to parents and said young people are getting hooked on the nicotine pouches from social media, CBS New York reported on Sunday. He said it's a pouch packed with problems. High levels of nicotine. So today I'm delivering a warning to parents because these nicotine pouches seem to lock their sights on young kids, teenagers, and even lower, and then use the social media to hook them. Well, you know what? Where's old Chuck Stick Schumer's? Where's this snap off about fentanyl?
Yeah.
Do you really care if a 16-year-old kid puts a nicotine pouch in his mouth? What is a nicotine pouch going to do to your health?
Why is he so against Zen, but he's not speaking out against the cigarettes?
Well, now wait a minute. You remember Biden's also got this thing, the menthol cigarette ban too, which are all up in arms about.
Yeah.
Because that'll affect minorities more than anybody else. You know, and there's going to be a black market for cigarettes. Well, look, I don't really care about. I heard menthol cigarettes have been bad for you for years, but I don't care. It's not their choice. If somebody wants to smoke, let them smoke. When it comes down to nicotine pouches do not have any ill effect on your health. None. This is one from Fox News. Joe Biden wants to ban menthol cigarettes. Chuck Schumer wants to ban Zen. The nanny state is alive and well with today's Democrat Party. What is it any of their damn business? And you have to have a lot of audacity for people like Chuck Schumer and Joe Biden, who got this border wide open, letting people come in that aren't vetted, letting people pour across the border, bringing all these drugs with them. You know, when we were kids, if we were at a party and somebody said, hey, man, take this pill, it'll make you feel good, what would you do? You'd take the pill, wouldn't you?
I mean...
Come on.
I've been known to...
Yeah, you've been known, but no, seriously. Back when we were kids, we could party, we could take a risk. You can't do that anymore. Even pot is being laced with fentanyl. So for this idiot to come out and try to get Zen banned, and it's just nuts, dude. It's absolutely nuts.
Yeah, I mean, kids are going to do whatever they want to do anyway, whether it's these, which I can't imagine there are too many kids doing this. I would think if they're going to go a nicotine route, they're going to do something, you know, Rudy Tooty, fresh and fruity vape type stuff. And let's get to the point of it is it's still better than smoking.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Well, nicotine is still a quote mind-altering chemical. But again, as far as weighing the health risks, it's not even in the same sport, let alone the same ballpark.
You know what?
Between a pouch and a cigarette.
You know what's less healthy for our youth is cutting off their genitals and putting them on puberty blockers. I would much rather the children of today experiment with Zen nicotine pouches than cut off their breasts or their genitals or whatever.
Eating Tide Pods.
Or eating Tide Pods or the thing where they snort the condom.
dumbass TikTok challenges where they're deep frying toothpicks. Now, have you seen that?
No, I have not seen this.
Yes.
What kind of fully monkey shines are you talking about?
Yeah, they're literally deep frying plastic toothpicks and then adding a little seasoning. I think it's in Korea or whatever, but it's the latest TikTok trend. Look, eat them all. Eat them, kids.
You're Stixing me, right?
No, I'm not. I actually saw the article on New York Post.
Well, I'll tell you what. You want a brain buster for you? This is
I call that Darwinism at its finest.
That is absolutely
Thin the herd.
Darwinism. Yes, that is thinning the herd. Get rid of them. Here's one for you, since we're kind of on this kick now. This is a Fox News headline. Charlie Sheen to get full custody of twins with Brooke Mueller if she fails drug or alcohol testing. It's Charlie Sheen. A judge has granted Charlie Sheen full custody of his twin sons if his ex-wife Brooke Mueller fails a drug or alcohol test. Sheen requested the new custody stipulations on Thursday in an emergency document obtained by Fox News. The Two and a Half Men star asked Judge Dean J. Kitchens to sign an order of two documents previously agreed upon by Sheen and Mueller in November 2022.
That's like saying, no, Jeffrey Dahmer, you can't have the kids anymore. They're going to go live with
How
Charlie
bad
Manson.
is that this guy who's the Hollywood sex machine has screwed anything that can walk, has lived, took so much cocaine, he had to go to the hospital for stomach issues when he had two transsexual hookers with him. This guy literally could spit in a petri dish and start a whole new civilization. And Brooke Mueller's going to lose the kids to him? Oh boy, hell froze over. This is the El Donzo and Dee show. Dees, tell them where you can catch our content and catch our updates at.
Updates can be found at facebook.com/ElDonzoDees or follow us on X at ElDonzoDees. But to get our show content, youtube.com/ElDonzoDees or just about anywhere you get your podcast, whether it be Spotify, Apple, Google, all that stuff. Just about any major podcast network, we're there.
And while this will be the last broadcast for the time being, for the foreseeable short-term future, next weekend we will have a podcast up at 9 o'clock on Saturday, so you can catch us there, or you can download it anytime you want to. Go to Spotify, go to Apple, go to Google Podcasts, go to any of these places, and you'll be able to get it. So we'll have all that information up on X and on Facebook, and of course, go over and check us out on YouTube. All right, now check this out. Here's a story for you. I read this, and I'm like, is this worth talking about? And I thought, yes, it is. Because we can really go off on a tangent with this one. CBS News anchor admits no one he talked to outside a New Hampshire grocery store is feeling good about the economy. Now, that seems like a pretty innocuous...
In other news, water's wet.
But the way that this guy in CBS pulled this off, I'm going to pull this up for you real quick. I can't remember what show he was on. Let me see if I can find this. Yeah, it was on CBS Mornings, and the co-host was Tony DeCoppel, reported how he and his team couldn't find anybody outside a New Hampshire grocery store that was feeling good about the economy. While previewing an upcoming CBS News segment set to air on Sunday, DeCoppel mentioned how people complain about higher food prices despite macro signs that the economy is improving. Do you think the economy is improving, Dees?
No, of course not.
Okay, I want you to listen to this. This is Tony himself talking about what he got from these interviews outside the New Hampshire grocery store real quick.
Yeah, so people are really bummed out about the economy here in New Hampshire, even if the overall big picture numbers are going in the right direction, and even if people's own personal...
Now, wait, I got to interrupt. Even if the overall big picture numbers are going in the right direction.
Which numbers?
Remember this. Just because the inflation rate is down does not mean inflation is down. This is what they're not getting. See how they sneak that in? Even though the overall big picture numbers are... Anyway, let's go ahead and continue. Tony, take her away.
Experiences in general are going okay. There's a lot of gloom, and one of the reasons is food prices, for example, generally going up. And we talked to a bunch of people outside of a grocery store in Derry, New Hampshire. We couldn't find anybody feeling good about the economy, and that's just human nature. Psychologically, you go into a store, if you're paying more for items that you get every week, that really sticks with you. It really annoys you. It gets you down. People were upset about it. And so are they making it? Yeah, they're making it. But are they bothered by the fact that frozen OJ has gone up double digits and that steak on Friday is up double digits? Absolutely. And that's really driving people's perspective on things.
Now, do you see how you portray this? That frozen OJ is up double digits, and that steak on Friday is up double digits. No, it's not frozen OJ and steak. It's everything.
Everything, yeah.
Everything is up. The bag of chips, the flour, the eggs, the milk, the bread, the everything is up. How can this idiot? I don't know how much this guy makes. I've never heard of him. He can't be making more than hardly 6 figures a year. How are these people so numb to what's going on in this country right now? And the fact that they will go on their CBS, of course, isn't, really a right-leaning network. How can they go on there and say what he said and try to, the big picture numbers, even though they're saying something different? No, we talked about this. Inflation can go down to 1%. That's not going to drop the price of food. The price of food will continue to go up.
It is what it is. It ain't going
albeit
anywhere.
Slowly.
Yeah.
Once you get up to 9%, almost 10% inflation like we hit, that was the official inflation. Once you get to that, the prices go to that. Then when you drop down to 1%, the prices don't drop.
No.
They keep going up by 1% over.
Yeah, it just means that they're going up a lot slower than they were. It's still going up. It's never going to come back down. And anybody with more than 7 brain cells should be very disappointed in the economy right now.
Dipsticks, he said it was a psychological thing. No, it's not psychological. It's your bank account.
It's financial.
It's financial. Now, yes, it turns into psychological.
Well, yeah.
But it's not just food. Gasoline, everything's up. Everything is up. And it's all because of Joe Biden and all this bull sticks. These people live in a fantasy land. Here's another story from you we got from the Post, New York Post. And the New York Post has got good stuff.
Yeah.
We
I definitely enjoy their style of writing on a lot of their stories.
Here's a headline from the New York Post. Under lifestyle, why Gen Zers are through working 9 to 5. Did you see this? Gen Zers have been known to roll their eyes at the concept of a 9 to 5 work week, and one young Australian, has declared he can only see himself working 5-hour days. Anthony Voulgaris has amassed millions of views on TikTok by sharing his various musings, and he has now captured the attention by calling out 9 to 5 culture. He explained that he could work from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. for the rest of his life, but not 9 to 5. He said, "It is not something I am willing to do. It is something I want to do, and it is not something I particularly plan for myself. Whoever designed society, I think they designed it wrong. They designed it with flaws."
So this is logic I can get behind.
It's logic you can get behind, but how's your paycheck going to look?
Well, yeah.
These
take the good with the bad, right?
Take the good with the bad. But these Gen Zers now coming out against a 9 to 5 work week. Check this out. He goes into it. He said if he worked a 5-hour day, he'd still be achieving his goals and getting fulfillment from work. But from 2 p.m. onwards, he'd be embracing party time. He also said if he finished at 2 p.m., he'd really be able to embrace work-life balance and use the example that he could go to the beach or head home and cook a delicious dinner. Well, gee, what? Why don't you chug on over to Mamby-Pamby land, you jackwagon? That's not how life works.
As far as his thought process in it, he's not wrong. Everybody, I think, would rather have a 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. as opposed to a 9 to 5. But like I said, then you still have to have people covering the rest of those hours, which is going to cost more money, which means everything else, it's going to do what it's doing now, which is go up. In a perfect world, yeah, we would all have, short 5-hour days and enjoy the rest of it.
We would, but it's not a perfect world.
Right.
Why are they dwelling on it? In a perfect world, I'd win the lottery.
I stopped trying to figure out what the hell Gen Z and beyond is thinking a long time ago.
You know what? If you want to get ahead in life, you want to make money, you want to buy stuff, you got to work for it.
You got to give wait, what?
What? Yeah. It's just it's the same thing about they want to reduce the work week and get paid more money. These unions do. They want to. It's some of the unions. They want to only work $35 an hour, and they want to raise in their hourly rate so they don't have to work all the time. Look, I'll embrace anybody's pipe dream, I guess, as much as you have to, but that's exactly what it is. It doesn't work like that. You can't make money like that.
Yeah.
And workers aren't growing on trees right now.
Yeah, that's the other problem is the jobs that are out there, nobody wants to do them.
This other chick, this younger worker named Brielle, acknowledged that she was probably being dramatic and annoying, but was having difficulty adjusting to how much time work takes up. This is my first job after college, and it takes me forever to get there. Oh, poor baby. I don't have time to do anything. I don't have time or energy to work out or cook my dinner. You know what? She doesn't have kids, obviously. She's not married and doesn't have kids.
Yeah.
You don't have time to do sticks when that happens.
Yeah, the world is not the right place for her.
No, the world's not the right place for it. Look, you're born, you work, you pay taxes, you die. I don't like it. I didn't write the rules, but that's how it is. So anyway, it kind of goes into everything. You know, they will complain about the cost of everything, yet they keep voting for these ignorant politicians, these left-wing liberal politicians that promise to make their lives better in hopes that they can get something like this out of them, and they never get it. And it's boggles my mind. And TikTokers, you know, the guy's probably making $100K a year doing TikTok,
probably,
which is owned by the Chicoms. I'm not going to get on a tangent about the Chicoms owning TikTok. Report: Michelle Obama's secret plan to replace Joe Biden for president emerges. This is Gateway Pundit, so it's a little tricky. Around May, Biden announces he's not running. This is what they're speculating is going to happen. The so-called plot is that come the August convention, Michelle Obama gets nominated. What do you think? You've been calling
I've been saying this the whole time.
I think it's going to be Michelle Obama, and I'll tell you why. With Barack Obama's finger on the pulse of this whole thing and everything he's doing to try to get Joe Biden to drop out. And then he had his campaign manager convince Biden to take her on, Jen O'Malley. I'm just telling you right now, I see Michelle Obama breaking through. I do. And I think Michelle Obama will be a threat to Trump.
Oh, yeah.
And they know it.
Yeah, I think more so than what Biden's going to be, I believe.
Look, dude, a dead dog could beat Biden, and they know it. I think it's going to be Michelle Obama.
Mm-hmm.
Now, does Gavin Newsom have a role in this? Do you think he's going to pop up anywhere with that?
Potentially. I could see if, again, I wouldn't be surprised if it's flip-flopped, but I think that's the ticket right there.
I think it's going to be Obama.
Obama Newsom or Newsom Obama.
Yeah,
one way or the other.
I think Michelle Obama's got her big old fingers in this pie, her big old man fingers. And yeah, I think probably by May or June we're going to see what happens. So, have you ever woken up the next day from a bender and thought, man, I really screwed up?
A better question is, have I ever not woken up from a bender and thought, man, I really screwed up?
Okay, you know those times where you think your week's really bad, where you think you really failed. You've really boned up, right? Mm-hmm. You've really just gone out on a limb there and just jacked your life all up. Well, I got news for you. If this ever happens again, and folks, if you're listening out there, and you ever just wake up and you're like, God, I can't believe I'm such a screw-up. This story, you need to go back and find it. You need to bookmark it so you can always go back and Ellie King, okay, just last week, was celebrating Dolly Parton's 78th birthday at the Grand Ole Opry. And quite a bit of an honor for somebody that sings country or whatnot. And Ellie King's a bit of a hick. Of course, that's Rob Snyder's daughter. Did you know that?
Ellie King?
Ellie King is Rob Snyder's daughter.
No, I didn't.
Yes, that's his daughter, yeah. And he must be very proud of her after this week. Ellie King went out there on the Grand Ole Opry, and I wish I had video to show you, but it was one of these things as a musician, I'd have probably gotten up and walked off stage. She was that drunk. And it was bad, and she knew she was drunk, and she had 0 F's given. Did you get a chance to watch the video or anything of this?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you don't think it was that bad?
No. Was it bad? Yes. But I don't know. This is like every rock star ever has done something like this. You could literally, every mega rock star you've ever heard of has probably had one of these eepisodes. Now, maybe not necessarily at the Grand Ole Opry honoring a legend.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the difference. So Ellie King, and I like to drink, but I can compose myself and, it's curb my drinking and keep it under control. I'm going to play this for you. I don't know if you heard this.
I heard it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Okay. It's to me, it's bad. To me, so most of these rock stars or whatever, you need Jim Morrison. They had a couple shows here and there where they drank too much or they were too loaded and they ruined the show. This is a little bit different. This is pretty high profile. And they had a lot of people dependent on her. I'm going to play the clip for you real quick. You can tell. You don't need to watch it. You can tell. And they actually start losing the beat. All right? They screw up the rhythm because she's so messed up.
She doesn't know the words.
She doesn't know the words. She's not even trying to fake it. So anyway, going to play clip, roll clip. Here we go. And now.
That's it. I'll tell you one thing more. I'll tell you one thing more. Hi, my name is Elle King. I'm Amber.
We're celebrating Dolly's birthday the good old-fashioned way.
Yeah, go ahead and dance.
Go ahead,
Celebrating Dolly's
player.
birthday.
He's celebrating Dolly's birthday with the bottle.
Sky blue eyes, big white smile, big identical tree. It's fast.
This is fast.
Fast. Add dollars in the ship. Everybody's looking at me like I know they.
They slowed it down.
She know love and love stuff. Need to marry me. Okay, we got. Let's go to the verses.
It's a hoedown.
Okay.
Something like that.
Oh, it was solos. All the solos. Okay, banjo solo. Let's do the verse. 1, 2, 3, 4. You gonna marry me?
What the hell is she singing?
Somebody probably lost their job over this. They're letting her on stage. There's no way that they didn't know that she was
She was trashed.
trashed. Yeah. But again, I still stand by my previous statement. Like this, Axl Rose and Steven Tyler.
Now wait a minute. Axl Rose didn't go on lit. Axl
He
Rose
just wouldn't
didn't
go on.
Big difference. At least Axl Rose.
Vince Neil, Nikki Sixx,
Well, Vince Neil just can't sing to begin with.
Ace Frehley, Peter Criss. I mean, just
But-
about every rock
yeah,
legend.
but wait a minute. But Ace Frehley and Peter Criss pulled it off. They pulled it off.
Not always.
Yeah, well, most of the time they did. You couldn't tell.
That's how Bruce Kulick got in the band.
But Alive 2, Ace Frehley and Peter Criss were the only ones that didn't have to overdub their parts. That's a fact. Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley had to go and re-record parts of
The
their
singing, yeah.
yeah, and they're playing. So just saying right now, Ellie King. If you ever think you're having a bad day and you're really messed up, just think about Ellie King. That's all I'm saying. Now, did you hear about the Daily Show?
Jon Stewart coming back for one day.
Stewart is coming back for one night a week.
Yep.
What's that kid? Trevor Noah, the guy that runs it, right?
No, Trevor's been gone for 2
who's
years.
doing it now?
They do a rotate. Well, the last I haven't watched it in a long time. Used to be a daily watcher of it. Trevor Noah left, I believe, 2 years ago, something like that.
I never watched it.
Yeah, it was horrible with Trevor Noah, and the ratings tanked. So Trevor decided to leave, and now they've basically, the last I checked anyway, we're doing a rotating, like they would have this person do it this week, then another person do it next week, so on and so forth. And yeah, bringing Jon Stewart back is like literally the best thing that they could do as far as ratings, but the show is so terrible anymore that I don't even know that one day of Jon Stewart can save it.
I don't think one day Jon Stewart can save it. They're bringing him back, and I reckon this is true for the election.
Yeah, basically
there's
for
no other
election
reason
season.
to call in the big guns. They're probably paying him a lot of money to come in and do this, but I mean, to me, it's kind of a wasted effort because I think the jig is up with. Well, it's not really late night.
Yeah,
it kind of is, isn't it? It's not late night.
The Daily Show?
Yeah.
Yeah, 10 o'clock.
Is it 10 o'clock?
Yeah,
I thought
it
was
goes up
earlier than that.
against all the heavy hitters and used to run right with them, like to the point where they would often cross over. And then when John left, it just took a nosedive.
Well, I mean,
And liberal or not, I love Jon Stewart just for his efforts and what he's done with not only veterans, but like the 9/11 responders.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think the ratings are going to be. I think people have pretty much given up the Daily Show, just like they've given up Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert. I don't know. Maybe he'll turn it around, but
I think it'll do good when he's on. But as far as like the people that used to watch Jon Stewart, i.e., me, people like me, I might tune in and watch John just to see how it is, but I'm not going to turn it on the next time that he's not on. And I think that's what they're going to find. Whatever day of the week he's on, I think they'll do okay. But then the rest of the week, it's just going to be tanked like it has been.
Well, let's put it this way. I think what's going to happen is this first show, a lot of people are going to tune in, and then it's going to eventually fizzle
Yeah.
out. I do. And I don't think Jon Stewart at this point has it in him like he did prior to Trump getting elected or Trump running, to keeping it he did kind of keep it middle of the road a lot before this happened.
Yeah, that's the key is if he just comes in and basically carries on what they've been doing since he left, which is just all
screwed.
anti-Trump, blah, blah, blah. If he comes in and tries to toe the line a little bit like he used to, obviously leaning left, but as long as he calls a spade like he used to, I think he could keep some of those viewers around for his one night. But if he comes in the way Trevor Noah did, where it's just anti, it's going to fizzle quickly.
Yeah, Trevor Noah got to the point where, I watched it a couple times and there was nothing really funny on there at all.
No, horrible, unwatchable.
So when we come back, it's going to be the last segment of the last show on Cities 92.9. It's going to be the Doomsday Clock. We're going to talk about that and getting the Fully Monkey Shines. The Aldonzo and Dee Show, right? This next story I want to get into, because I've always looked at at this, which is the atomic clock, or the Doomsday Clock. Have you paid much attention to this?
Never heard of it.
Okay, so it was the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists have been around since 1947, and they have this thing called the Doomsday Clock. And they take into account everything going on in the world. And now it's, of course, climate change. And the Doomsday Clock at midnight is pretty much the end. Okay? The atomic clock goes to midnight. And if it's, 30 minutes to midnight, we're far away from a disaster. If it's 10 seconds to midnight, it's right on the front porch. So that tells you how close we are to a worldwide catastrophe. Really developed as a nuclear thing. All right. In 1991, I think it was like 17 minutes to midnight, which is the farthest it was away. And that was after, the Berlin Wall and everything. And the Soviet Union collapsed. And then in 2023, they moved it to 90 seconds to midnight. Last year, 90 seconds to midnight. Okay. And that was with the ongoing war in Ukraine and all this other stuff. So they made this big announcement that they were going to update the Doomsday Clock this week. And they did it. And they didn't move it at all. So from 2023 to 2024 now, they didn't move it any closer to midnight. From the beginning of 2023. You following me?
Sure.
Now, why? Now, if you look at everything that's going on in the world right now, you have the Nuclear Proliferation Treaty has been left in the dust. There is a nuclear arms race. You have Iran getting nuclear weapons. Israel has nuclear weapons, and they got hit by Iran-backed Hezbollah and the Gaza Strip deal. You've got the stuff in Ukraine. You've got the stuff in the Taiwan Strait between Taiwan and China. All this stuff kicking off, the border, everything going on right now, and they didn't move it. I think that's almost like running interference for the world's leaders. I think
Probably.
that's running interference for the elite.
The whole
How
thing
could
is-
you not? How could you go from the beginning of 2023 to 2024 and say that the risk hasn't gone up?
No, you can't. But
It's just stupid.
the whole thing is stupid.
I never put any stock into the atomic clock ever since I started talking about climate change. And now,
Every
of course,
single second of every single day, we are technically 1 second from midnight. I mean,
So, point being here, whatever the Board of Atomic Scientists come out with or whatever the hell they're called, take it with a grain of salt. Because they obviously, if they really wanted to warn people what was going on, I'm going to tell you something. That thing would be about 3 seconds to midnight right now.
Yeah.
That's my opinion on it. Anyway, okay, this is the last segment of the show, and Dee's has some Fully Monkey Shines for everybody. Dee's, let her rip.
hold your hand up to the camera.
Hold my hand up to the camera.
Yes, like I'm doing.
Let me see real quick. I got to get on here.
Okay, there's my thumb.
Okay.
No, let me see all 5 fingers.
Okay.
Okay. So, according to a new study, there's a way to tell if you are a psychopath.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see this story?
Yeah, I did, but
Researchers in Canada have analyzed finger lengths of volunteers with clinically diagnosed psychiatric issues to determine whether psychopathy is biologically rooted. The team found that those whose index fingers are shorter than their ring fingers are more likely to be a complete psychopath.
I'm not a psychopath. Well, I am, but the fingers don't show it. Are
I'm
you?
afraid I have some bad
Sweet
news.
Jesus, Deez. You're like a half-inch shorter.
Yes.
Get out of my house.
I read the article, then I looked at my hand. I'm like, holy
I know. I did the same thing. I looked right down. I'm like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
Not
No,
Deez,
I'm
he's bad.
apparently not. So
No, you're pretty far from okay.
I'm apparently just seconds away from a Michael Douglas episode in that. What was that movie?
Falling Down.
Yeah,
one of my
Falling Down.
favorite movies. One of my favorite movies.
Yeah. Not necessarily. Well, here, story out of New York. A frozen head, but they found the rest of the body too, was found in a taped up refrigerator in New York City. And apparently it's been there for a long time. Well, now the details have come out, and this person who was the body was a Brooklyn drug dealer. He was completely dismembered. He'd been in a fridge for 4 months after a fight over drugs with this couple. And if you look at the pictures on the New York Post, this couple clearly was on drugs, probably all of them.
Pretty messed up.
Yeah. Well, it turns out that their victim, Kosheen Gelzer,
Ooh, that was good. You did a good job on that one.
is a state sex offender and has been convicted of crimes such as molesting a 12-year-old boy in 2005, multiple accounts of molestation and
somebody
sex
killed him?
crimes. And yes, he was
Good.
butchered and stored in a refrigerator that was then taped up to do the smell. Now, here's where I have the problem. Apparently, everybody in the building knew that he went in there and never came out. But they've actually set up like vigils and rest in peace, all tributes to this guy who was murdered when he's a multiple time convicted sex criminal.
They didn't murder him enough. They
Exactly.
should have tortured him.
Now,
Hopefully they tortured him.
These people are clearly scumbags just by looking at their record, but the way I see it, no harm, no foul, right?
No, I agree. Give him a medal. I mean, give him a pardon. Yeah.
Yeah.
They repaid their debt. by
And she
killing him.
quickly told police that my boyfriend killed him. Well, he's already in jail on other crimes. She had
that.
warrants, so yeah, she had to go to jail too. Another story that we'll probably talk about next week when more details possibly come out is this whole Kansas City Chiefs fan thing where 3 guys found dead, frozen in this dude's backyard after being asleep for 2 days.
Insanity. this
Yeah, I
is.
can't wait to hear how this
Insanity.
goes.
All right, everybody, this is the El Donzo and D Show. We